I know what you're thinking about. It's impossible for me to look good without makeup because my skin isn't perfect. Well, guess what? My skin isn't perfect either, but I do want to look good either way. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can start looking better without makeup, even if you don't have perfect, glowing skin. Say no to unhealthy comparisons. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, this often leads to a downward spiral of self-doubt and diminished self-esteem. Yes, I'm not going to start this video by recommending a new skincare product. First and foremost, we have to work on our mindset. When all we do is focus on physical appearances of other people we see online, we may start feeling inadequate and unworthy. And because of social media, this happens all the time. These comparisons can also lead to unattainable standards, which are often completely untrue. And that's why we think all of those people on social media have perfect, glowing skin all the time. Maybe on camera, you might think that this person's skin just looks amazing all the time, that it's glowy and flawless. But even me right now recording this YouTube video, my skin doesn't look, perfect and amazing. It's my skin. You don't see the full picture. You don't see the acne I have, the blackheads I have, the pigmentation. You start assuming that people on the internet look like this all the time. And then you start wondering why you don't look like them, why your skin doesn't look perfect like theirs. Especially because right now there's this trend to have this clean makeup or like no makeup look. So you think all of those people, their skin is so perfect and that's why they can have this, clean makeup look. Well, let me tell you, their skin isn't perfect either. The next important step of learning to look good without makeup is learning to love yourself. I know so many people who just don't feel confident without makeup, and I personally think it's a problem. If you feel like you need to hide your face with something just because you can't accept yourself, you can't just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing. If you can't do that, I think it's something you need to work on. Accepting yourself the way you are is extremely important because love is one of the most powerful emotions we can experience. And when we project all of this love to ourselves, our life just feels better. We feel happier, we feel more satisfied, and more good things come to our lives. Yes, I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that, I never feel upset when sometimes I look at my, new pimple, especially when it's acne, something that hurts, something that's pretty big, something I know will leave a mark on my skin. I'm not gonna say that I don't feel upset. Sometimes I even cry, especially when I feel exhausted, tired, maybe because of work. I take off my makeup, I wash my face, and I just see a new pimple. And sometimes I wanna cry. Recently I had a therapy session and I realized one important thing, like the reason why I started experiencing all of those emotions. My therapist and I talked about how sometimes I use my body to achieve the results I want. And I know it sounds very bad. Like I kind of disattach myself from myself and I treat my body as a tool, right? As a tool to achieve something. I think this thinking, this mindset was developed in me because of sports. Ever since I was 4 years old, I did sports competitively. When I was a little girl, I did gymnastics for a very long time, like from 4 to 12 or 13, and then I did track. So all of these sports are extremely competitive. You're doing a lot of things on your own, and you're also using your body to the maximum. And so now, because of that, if I get a pimple, for example, I don't approach it with compassion. Instead, I think, well, now I won't be able to record a new video, or well, now I won't be able to make stories for Instagram. Yeah, sounds pretty, how would I describe it? Alarming? Like my body can never catch up to my own expectations because the expectations that I place on my body are so impossibly high. And obviously the same thing happens when I get sick, for example, right? I can't record a video, I can't work. Oh my God. Like this part of being compassionate towards myself and treating my body not as a tool, but like appreciating all the things my body can give me, is definitely something that I have to learn. And I am in this process of fully accepting myself and treating myself compassionately right now. And that's, I feel like, is where a big realization for me came in, that doing any kind of transformational work is better from a place of kindness and acceptance. If you're working on yourself, if you're leveling up, improving yourself because you hate your current self, you're not gonna go too far, because probably you're treating your body as a tool to achieve something, and if you're not achieving this thing right now, makes you very unhappy. And so developing this love towards yourself is so important. Reminding yourself that you're amazing, you're already great, and you're already perfect because you are you. Another important aspect of learning to love yourself more is paying attention to the self-talk you use when you take pictures of yourself. Guys, it happens all the time. I see it all the time outside. For example, a girl asks her boyfriend to take a picture of her, and then she starts criticizing herself so bad. Like, her boyfriend took a picture of her and she looks at the photo and she's like, oh my God, I look so fat, I look so ugly here. Can you take another picture of me? Like, the self-talk we use when we look at pictures of ourselves is so freaking important. You're always beautiful, you're not ugly. Like, using these words is just like, why? It's not serving you at all. And having those expectations of, you know, every single picture has to be the exact way I pictured it in my head is not gonna serve you. And I catch myself in those situations very often because I record myself often. I make videos of myself, pictures of myself, and sometimes when I look through the footage, when I look through the pictures, I can say, oh my God, I look tired here. Look at my eye bags or something like that. The lighting is horrible. I need to use makeup or something like that. And then I just catch myself, I stop myself and I say, Veronika, like, what are you doing? It is not helping you at all. Learn to love yourself and accept yourself, and don't treat your body as a tool to achieve whatever it is you want to. And now when this shift happened in my mind, I started going to the gym with a completely different mindset. Right now, I go to the gym, I exercise, I do something good for my body because I love my body and I want to make sure my body is healthy and strong. And it's obviously connected to my skin too, like my face. Because if I exercise, I take care of my body, my skin is going to look better too. In those moments, I don't need any extra motivation, and I actually stopped feeling lazy. Like, now I understand those people who say that laziness doesn't exist, like there's something deeper, you have to dig deeper and understand why you're saying that you feel lazy. And I know for me, like, a big value of mine is being healthy, being strong. And that's why every single time I think about going to the gym, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the gym. I don't feel lazy at all because I know that going to the gym helps my body feel healthy and strong. It becomes easier to go to bed earlier, to say no to a glass of wine at the party and choose something non-alcoholic, for example, because I love my body and I love myself. And I know that if I start drinking a lot of wine, a lot of alcohol, my face is not gonna look great, I'm not gonna get a good night's sleep, and obviously I'm not gonna feel that great. Now let's move on to the third way that helped me look better without makeup. It's understanding the root cause of your skin problems. This is very important because I personally don't even like using makeup that much. I feel like this notion of using makeup because we want to hide something, we don't accept ourselves, is definitely something that I don't want to follow. I like when my skin is clean and hydrated, and that's all that I need. So I don't want you guys to use makeup because you hate the way you look, and that you absolutely need to use makeup to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. It's like when I see those videos on YouTube where people say that they absolutely cannot live without coffee. Like, they wake up and they're like, coffee, coffee, I can't survive without coffee. I don't know, I honestly don't think it's normal. Like, depending on something this much to be able to function well, I don't know. I know that for me, for example, my root cause of all of my skin problems right now is the hormonal contraceptives I was taking a while back. They completely messed up my skin because before that, you know, growing up when I was a teenager, I never had hormonal acne. And now I got adult acne, I guess, and I started having acne for the first time in my life. But now, fortunately, even though I have to deal with all of this, I also understand the root cause of my skin problem. And so because I understand it, I can think of what I can do to solve it. The most common reasons why people might be experiencing skin problems include hormonal imbalances, diet, lifestyle, genetics, and different medications. So going to a doctor like a dermatologist, for example, and discussing your skin condition can help you a lot, instead of buying more and more products that you think are gonna treat your skin condition. And maybe you don't even know the real root cause of your skin problem. I knew, for example, that in my case, I was already doing everything I could. My diet was full of plants and I don't consume dairy at all because I'm 100% vegan. I like to say that I live a calm life, but obviously sometimes it's hard because of work. Sometimes I get stressed out. Sometimes I stay up late because I'm on my phone. And so now I do have acne sometimes because of my hormones. I still think that they're not 100% balanced, if I can say it this way. But needless to say, I'm still doing everything to help my body heal naturally. And that is my case. It's something that happened to me. It's something that worked for me. For you, it might be completely different, and understanding how your body works is extremely important. Now let's move on to looking at your diet, because it is so important when it comes to the way your skin looks and the way you feel. Of course, we all heard it, limiting processed foods is important, limiting sugar, and adding more fiber into your diet. I feel like nowadays so many people talk about, getting enough protein. But guys, you really have to be asking yourself this question: am I getting enough fiber? It's something that I learned on the course from Cornell University. I took this course a few months ago. I got my certificate. It doesn't mean that I'm a dietitian now. No, I'm just very interested in nutrition, and learning a lot of things about plant-based nutrition was a very big goal of mine for a very long time. And so when I heard that phrase there, that you really need to ask those people, do you get enough fiber? And not, do you get enough protein? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about that. And when people talk about limiting sugar, a lot of people, I don't know why, think about fruit, like not eating any fruit. Fruit is good for you. When I say sugar, I mean candy or sugary drinks, stuff like that. And also, of course, the consumption of milk and dairy products can lead to acne too. I will leave all the links to all the studies in the description down below so that you can check them out yourself. The way it works for milk is basically milk contains hormones, which are associated with the formation of acne breakouts. And even when I personally think of milk, don't you think it's a little bit strange that we as humans are consuming milk from a different species, like cow's milk, for example? I don't know, in my mind it's just a little bit weird. And of course, our gut health is connected to the health of our skin. If you guys are interested in nutrition, you've probably heard that recently more and more people have started to talk about our guts, because the gut microbiome plays a crucial role in regulating immune function and inflammation throughout the body. And if we have an imbalance in the gut microbiome, it can lead to systemic inflammation, which can cause acne and make it worse. Of course, alcohol can mess up our gut microbiome. That's why it's completely understandable right now for me why when I drink alcohol, my skin just doesn't look great at all. Alcohol messes up my gut microbiome. Because of that, I get flare-ups. Also, the gut and the brain are connected via the gut-brain axis, which is basically a communication system involving the nervous system, hormones, and immune factors. Imbalances in our gut bacteria can influence brain function and mood, which may indirectly affect acne via stress-related mechanisms. If you guys are interested in the Cornell nutrition course that I took a while back, I will also leave the link to the course down below. I learned so many things from that course. I highly recommend it. The doctors, the specialists, the professors on that course were amazing, very educated, All the information they were sharing was amazing. And I think educating yourself to help your overall health and well-being is so important. Again, not to treat your body as a tool, but to appreciate your body and help it, right? Especially I think for most of you guys, I hope your health, your well-being are one of your values too. Now let's talk about moving regularly. This is so hard to pronounce. Regularly. Now let's talk about moving regularly. Exercise increases blood flow, delivering oxygen and nutrients to the skin while carrying away all the things we don't need. It's also a natural stress reliever, which triggers the release of endorphins, chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of happiness and well-being. Stress is a very well-known trigger for acne flare-ups, and that's why when I feel stressed, I try to remind yourself, Veronika, don't feel stressed, because this may cause acne. And when I exercise regularly, it helps me manage stress better. And so this way, it reduces the likelihood of breakouts. Physical activity can also help regulate hormone levels in the body, including cortisol, the stress hormone, and androgens. And again, as I just said multiple times, move your body because you love your body and you want to help it. Do things that make it fun for you. For example, recently I started doing rock climbing or bouldering, to be more specific, because sometimes when I just go to the gym and that's it gets a little bit boring. And that's why I try to, mix things up. I go to the gym, I run, I do Pilates, now I do bouldering, and all of these activities make me feel less stressed. And because of this, my skin starts looking a lot better. And now we can finally move on to products. Quality over quantity. I really wanted this video to be more in depth for you guys, because when you think about your skin and thinking about, oh, I want to look better in pictures without makeup, it's not just about improving your skincare routine. It's so much deeper than that. It involves working on your lifestyle, your diet, exercising regularly, going to the doctor to check the root cause. And only now we can actually start talking about your skincare routine. I have personally tried using the Korean skincare brand called Anua. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I also used CeraVe for a very long time, and I personally love both of these brands. They have been very, very helpful. Currently, all I'm using is really Anua. I really like this brand. My skincare is pretty simple. Like literally all I do is I wash my face twice because I use 2 different face washes from Anua. Then I use a serum, sometimes, not all the time. I would say probably I use a serum, I don't know, twice a week or 3 times a week, just because I noticed that a lot of serums can make my face pretty oily. And then I use a moisturizer, and I always use sunscreen in the morning. I was actually that person a while back who never used sunscreen, and oh my god, I regret it now so much. If you only take one thing from this video, I really want it to be this: use sunscreen, because it helps reduce signs of skin aging. It can protect your skin, because if you don't use sunscreen, your skin can look red, sunburned, and damaged. It can also become wrinkled and develop dark spots over time from too much sun exposure. And just this one simple tool, sunscreen, can protect your skin from all of these harmful effects of the sun. I have also recently read a few articles on how applying tea tree oil to your face twice a day has the ability to improve milder forms of acne. Luckily, I have tea tree oil and I have started doing it recently. Honestly, maybe it's helping my face. I'm not sure yet because I literally just started using tea tree oil on my face. But if you guys are interested in this research, I will leave the link to the full resource, the full article down below. I have also been seeing more and more information on how barberries can help treat acne to a certain extent. Barberries. Yeah, maybe you guys are hearing this word right now and you're like, what? I have never heard of these berries before. Just Google it, barberries. For a dry fruit, these berries are packed with antioxidants. You can find them for pretty cheap at Middle Eastern grocery stores. From what I understood by reading all of those articles, the compound in barberries called berberine can help fight inflammation and infections associated with acne. And scientists have found that actually eating the fruit, like barberries sprays themselves can be extremely beneficial. Again, I will leave the link to everything down below. You can check it out for yourself, talk to your doctor, and think about if you want to implement those things into your routine. I wanted the main message of this video to be, you don't need to buy this new fancy amazing cleanser and think that it will solve all of your problems. Because that's the way marketing works, because unfortunately we are lazy, and instead of actually doing a deep dive and figure out what's not working in our lifestyles and our routines, we want to find a quick fix. A new cleanser, a new moisturizer, I don't know, a new serum that will fix all of our skin problems. But sometimes we just need to do the hard work, and I wish it were this easy. Maybe this video wasn't something most of you guys expected when you clicked on this video originally. Of course, I could have talked about, washing your hair, making sure your hair is clean, because naturally when your hair is clean, you just look better. But I feel like that wouldn't have been enough. Like, if you actually have skin problems and you want to start looking better without makeup, you really need to analyze a lot of different things and understand what you need to do, instead of, again, using makeup to make yourself feel confident, because otherwise you wouldn't. So I think it's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, all the links to all the research, articles, videos that I used to prepare for this video are going to be down in the description. You can check them out, think about them, talk about them with your doctor, and create a plan for you. If you're thinking about what to watch next, I highly recommend checking out my video right here. I think you'll enjoy it a lot.